And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Howdy folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a party game called Sandy Sketches. And I saw this at the store, and the thing is, I know that a lot of people have kind of a tendency to dislike games in the mass market store. But I always keep an eye there because I'm like, well, you never know what you might find, and some of these party games are actually quite good. Now this one I had suspicions about because it said draw in the sand as quickly as you could. I looked in the back, and you're literally drawing in the sand. Okay, well, I live in Florida, and sand here is anathema. We live in Florida, we don't even go to the beach for one reason, the sand. We don't want to get sand everywhere. It's coarse and, anyway. We want to go to a nice swimming pool or something where there's no sand. But hey, sand in the game, what could possibly go wrong? It's so obvious what could go wrong, but let's take a look at the game anyway. So in this game, you're going to take the included bag of sand and pour it in. Try not to get sand all over the place. And there we go, nice and smooth. You're going to split into teams of 2, so you can have up to 4 teams, or you can have more than 2, but each team must have at least 2. And one person's going to be the person giving out clues on a turn. So they might draw this or get this card. It says things you put on a snowman. Now they are going to say how many their team is going to get right in the 30-second timer that's included with the game. And they're going to start drawing them and have people guess what they are. So you're going to get 1 point for each one guessed correctly. Once people reach the number you said you get a bonus point. But then you're done. So I could say 6 to get a bonus point, and you also go back 1 if you're wrong. So let's say I'm going to start drawing, and so maybe you see how you can use both sides of the stick here, and that's not a very good scarf at all. But it's like an Etch-a-Sketch almost, in that you can do this. So maybe I'll draw the snowman, and your team knows the category, so maybe they figure out that that's the scarf. And then, of course, I can do this again. Maybe my thing is ancient weapons, and so maybe this is my thing. Can you guess what that is? If you said club, great. I'll go to the next one. You might say dagger or sword. It's actually sword. Spear. Axe. Not a very good one, but maybe you would have said catapult there. And bow and arrow. Now you have to do these in the turn that you have to do them in order. So I can't do bow and arrow first. I have to do them in this order. And so for each one that we get correct, you move around. And if the timer runs out before you guess the number of sketches, you go back 1. If you're on this red one here, then you have to choose. You get to choose between 2 cards on your turn, not just 1. And if you're on the green space, you have to use your non-dominant hand. If you overlap somebody, they're removed from the game. Their teammates can be split between the other teams, which kind of is weird, but whatever. And then you win if you're the only person left, or if you go all the way around the board and get back to your spot. That's how you play. All right, so there's sand. That's already a problem in itself. I almost wish you could like snap something and play, but wait, the game does come with this plastic board which holds all the cards, and this does sit on top, but it sits on top. So the only way this is going to work is if you don't ever tilt the box in any direction. I mean, do you think, should I try it? Should I flip it over and see if the sand falls out? Okay, it doesn't, but that's because I'm holding the lid on as strongly as I can. Do you want me to turn it over without the lid? No, even I'm not crazy enough to do that. But you can see here, the sand got all over the bottom of this lid. Now, if you want to pour the sand back into a bag, I used a spoon because you can see, even if I'm being careful, I'm going to get sand all over the place. So right here, this almost invalidates the game straight up. That's just problematic. The cards are fantastic. There's a lot of cards. They have these great human organs, types of the house, things you take on a picnic, things on a dinner table, things in a haunted house, kinds of makeup, American landmarks. and they're double-sided, so that's fine. This wand is a neat idea, and the sand is actually really good quality. It feels like sand from a sand timer. It's just the fact that it's sand. Well, what do you do? Sand kills it. Straight up kills it. Okay, so that's the review, right? You don't want the sand all over the place. That's problematic. Okay, but let's pretend that they had put a lid that you could snap on, and that somehow the sand wouldn't get all over the table. Somehow. Again, what's the point? Yeah, I know people like to write in the sand at the beach. Help me, save me, SOS, I'm in love. Whatever. I get that, but this same thing could have been done, as I said in the review, with an Etch-a-Sketch. Well, that Etch-a-Sketch has the knobs, but those magnetic ones, or even those old little tablets that disappeared when you picked them up and ripped them off the pad below it as you drew on it. So you say, no, that's because it's trickier to write in the sand. I get that. And don't get me wrong, it is neat when you draw and you shake it and the sand goes back into position. That's kind of cool. And they did a great job with the cards. But even then, it's a very mediocre game. The scoring is, the guessing how many you're going to get right is, yes, you can eliminate someone going over, which I normally think is a bad thing, but in this game you're like, yes. But then the people get split onto the other team, so do you have a full victory or a half victory? What does that even mean? I don't know, but at the end of the day, it's sand. My mom always said, don't bring sand in the house. This game tells me to do so. It's a game. I get it. I get the gimmick, but it feels like a mass market game. Just, hey, draw stuff. Sir, we need something. Draw in sand. That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like there's I mean, they did a good job again putting these cards together, but that's about it. As it is, I think most people are going to play it and they're going to have fun for about 5 minutes. And then they're going to realize they wasted their money. Now, I'm telling you here, don't waste your money. Sandy Sketches. I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching the Dice Tower. Dice Tower Judgment. Too sandy.